welcome back to another episode of Nerding Out, Geeking Out, the No-Go podcast. Make sure you can now follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible. And there is a poll on the Spotify account, I don't know if it transfers to you yet, of what parts you prefer out of this podcast so that we can tailor this podcast to what you enjoy. So we've also now discussed how we're going to split the podcast. So we're going to split it into section 1, which is Nerding Out, which is real-world topics in engineering and design. And then Geeking Out, which is going to be sci-fi, games, films, TV, you name it. We're probably going to cover it in that bit. So stay tuned. And now we are going to move to Apologies from Gresham.
Whoop, whoop. So, oh God.
Great start for this knowledge.
Great,
Apologies from Gresham.
Fantastic start to episode 2. So, this probably is going to become a recurring segment because we're only human. It's the What We Messed Up Last Time segment. Now, certain of our, a few of our listeners have pointed out some of the mistakes we made. Some of them I realised, we realised just listening to it later, just realised how stupid we were.
We are
now,
I'm calling it the first episode problems.
to be fair, there were nerves, so maybe that was it. So, the first big blunder was when we were talking about nuclear energy, and then we were talking about nuclear disasters. Now, there was a bit when we were talking about Chernobyl, big, it's the world famous one, but there was another one, it's a bit more recent, which I believe the gentleman to my right
Hi.
may have called it Hokushima. Now, he said Hokushima with so much confidence.
I said it with no confidence and was questioning it the whole time.
I assumed it to be confidence, and I was like, yep, I know Hokushima, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, so apologies for that, it was Fukushima. But to be fair, you do have to remember, Luke is dyslexic.
I'm a dumb bitch.
Which means that, if anything, myself and James were just really, really dumb for not calling him out on it. But I'll put that down to nerves. It's fine. The other big blunder, which comes from the F1 segment. I can't really.
Sorry.
This may have come as a statement from James, but I didn't call him out on it. Luke definitely wasn't going to call him out on it. He knows nothing about F1. One day, at some point this year. So. We said at some point, we were going through Adrian Newey's how many titles he'd won.
Kind of forgot one or two.
I forgot a few. We said he'd won none at Williams. Now, he won 5 constructors' titles in Williams. The man won 26 titles in total.
I say he's done far too many.
I have no comment, and we'll take sponsorship from him if required.
Oh, of course.
If Adrian Newey wants to meet and discuss his F1 championships, I'll always be there.
Yep, definitely down. And I suppose the final big blunder was when we were talking about the Tyranids, actually, in the Warhammer segment. I mentioned there was a weird worm that they used to transport Tyranids around. Not a very crazy name. It's called a teleporter worm.
Creative.
Yes, very creative indeed.
That's
yeah, they effectively are there to help transport troops around the ship. They have cysts on their body which open up to different parts of the ship. Very disgusting. And the rest of the body of the worm lives in the warp. Very weird.
Okay.
Very weird.
Right.
But I just wanted to chuck one thing in there. I did say, it might be a bit of a safety concern because what if, just your friendly neighborhood space marine was walking past and saw the opening and was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get on board a Tyranid ship. No. So because space, the teleporter worms are part of the hive mind for Tyranids, they know what's Tyranid, what's not. So the moment they clock the space marine, it gets chucked into a sack which then gets ejected out maybe years or weeks or months later, dead. Yeah.
That was one hell of a deep dive for
On
an
that
intro.
on that gruesome news, that's finishing our what we messed up last episode.
Apologies from Gresham. Do. Okay, so I believe that we've got some information / rumours from James.
Well, the rumours that we thought the rumours actually turned out to be real. Apple had an event. Well, I say an event. Tim Cook posted on his Twitter / X page saying Wednesday there's going to be a new member of the family joining. Turns out it was a refresh / new release of the iPhone 16e, which is their new budget phone.
Oh, yay.
And when I say budget, it's gone up by about $150. Or
Apple
thereabouts.
budget.
Apple budget phone. To about... Well, starting at $599
That's not a budget.
for a 128 gig. And then went up and goes up to 256 at $699. And the nice and expensive one is 512 gigabytes and $899.
That's not budget, that's premium.
Budget. Apple budget.
Now, the reason for the price increase is down to its new AI features. Not AI as in artificial intelligence.
No.
Apple intelligence.
Yep.
Apples don't have brains.
Its key features, basically, it's got the same chip as the iPhone 16, which is the A18 chip, which is built for AI.
So that's the current chip.
Yes, it's the current one that it's the current from the current flagship. September this year, they'll release another one.
Okay, so what's the difference then between the flagship and the budget? And is that the reason there isn't much of a difference? Why their budget isn't the budget?
To be honest, I would say potentially you've got more colour options in the premium range, bigger screen choices.
Material choices. Right?
Yes, you've got titanium on the new
Premium.
On the premium one.
Yep.
Whereas the new phone, the 16e, has it comes in two colours, white and black, like the original iPhones. To me, it reminds me very much of like the iPhone 4, the 4G days.
Yeah.
So it's quite boxy, square. They've got rid of their MagSafe charging on the back.
Why?
Budget. Let's put it down.
To keep it into the
I'm sorry.
budget.
For $1,000.
No,
You want a MagSafe,
no, sorry,
right?
no. That's on the E, which is the maximum price is $899.
Yeah,
For
basically
for £900. I bloody want MagSafe. I'm sorry. How
And it
old
will
is MagSafe?
probably be £1 to $1, so it will be
It's outrageous.
£899 as well.
I mean, let's just think about how long MagSafe has been in Apple phones. When did we start doing wireless charging? It was post iPhone 10.
There's wireless charging, and then they've got
MagSafe.
their MagSafe, which
iPhone 11?
I genuinely can't remember. It's been a while.
I don't know anything about Apple, so you're basically teaching me right now.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
The differences are, as I've just gone onto their website to actually find this out, it seems to be they've both got the the iPhone, the Max has the 18 Pro chip,
Right.
which I assume would be, as I go down, I bet it has a few extra cores. Where are we?
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Yep, they've not really...
So I'd assume that it's got the previous premium chip, and because of that, it's gone to the previous premium price, and
Yes.
then the new premium has gone up again.
Well, I mean, basically, budget this year budget in this year and then future years are just never going to match the years before.
They're very similar.
It's always going to go up.
So I've just got them up. I am looking at the 16 Pro Max versus the iPhone 16 versus the iPhone 16e.
Mm-hmm.
Now, displays, the iPhone 16 and E are exactly the same, whereas the Max is a bit bigger at 6.9.
Is it the same material screen?
No, we can go further down. I did read earlier. It's one. They both have scratch resistance, but the E is not the same as the 16.
Not glass?
I do believe it's glass, but I think it's got a coating.
Okay.
And they've both got
Not
USB-C.
everyone's as clumsy as you.
Yeah,
what can I say?
it's they've
I've broken
both
a lot of
got
screens.
the 16 and the 16 Pro have MagSafe, but the iPhone 16e, Luke's going to laugh at this bit, has Qi wireless charging up to 7.5 watts.
Great.
Nice.
So fast charging is out of the question on that.
Yeah,
one.
it's not.
Unless you plug it
it's
in.
not going to do anything.
That's quite funny.
They've all got OLED, so it's actually increased slightly. So it's
They're just marketing the previous phone, but with less premium
Yeah.
materials on the
Yeah.
outside,
Yes,
but
they are.
for the same price
Yeah.
as the premium phone they used
well,
to do.
the premium prices have I'd say since the 10, which was the iPhone X, have been about $1,000
Yes.
/pounds.
Once iPhone X came out, they broke the $1,000 mark. But the thing is, because you have other companies that are like, I don't know, they kind of did it. They proved that people were willing to pay that, and ever since then, you've got Samsung, Google, OnePlus. All of them were like, "Yep, cool. Now it just automatically means that we can market our phones at $1,000."
Yeah. I mean,
And it's ridiculous.
a lot of the time, unfortunately, if Apple do it, the market moves.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And if that involves making more money on the other end, they'll do. Other companies will do it.
I'm sorry, but I just the iPhone market is so despicable, and I've not needed that much power in a mobile phone before.
What you're telling me,
I
you
never
don't
will.
want for the iPhone 16e, you don't want a 6-core CPU with 2 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores, a 4-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine.
No, you know what? I'm quite happy with my Google phone that cost about 300 quid max. And you know what? I haven't noticed any performance issues with it at all.
In terms of what you were asking earlier about the difference between the 16 Pro and the 16e, other than the cameras, which are a big selling point of the 16, it's admittedly it's got a lot better cameras. But in terms of like performance, 16e will have a bit more of a battery life, but in terms of actual performance, it's got, rather than a 4-core on the 16e for the GPU, it's a 6-core. So it'd be better at gaming on your phone.
Great. I have to admit, that is something I don't do.
Yeah.
The gaming on phone thing is a no, because I got a PC. I just play games on the PC now.
That's fair, but the thing is, like, I remember back to COVID days. Damn. I mean, but back when we were stuck in lockdown, what did we play? We played Call of Duty Mobile. Oh my god, I had such good memories of that. Honestly, we'd get into squads of 5. We'd be on a FaceTime call just in the background, and we'd be going for a hell for leather. It was the most fun thing ever. Because also it meant that, you didn't need it wouldn't be a case of somebody has a PlayStation 3, somebody has a PlayStation 4, somebody has an Xbox. No, it was none of that. Because at the time, you have to remember, crossplay wasn't really
Yeah, that's true. That's
a
the
big
thing over the last year or so, maybe 2 years.
So it was just such a good way of doing it. And
But
I
does
don't know.
that mean that we don't necessarily need it now as much?
I don't think we need it as much now, but what has happened over the last the previous few years, I think maybe especially around lockdown time, it's just opened everyone up to the concept of gaming on their phone.
True.
And now, now obviously, people must be spending enough money for these gaming companies to be like, okay, I'm now going to make higher and higher graphics quality, phone games that can actually really test some of these phones,
To be fair, yeah, some phone companies, I can't remember off the top of my head, have actually gone on to from a phone game. They've gone to turn their sites to PC.
Yes.
So they've got enough money from mobile gaming to
Interesting.
start developing for computers.
So it's almost like a new form of indie store like they have in Nintendo Shop. Whereas like it's an indie company making a game, and by funding the mobile game, you can then expand the business to actually produce proper games for consoles and
admittedly,
PC.
that's how a lot of when the iPhone especially first started, because I think that was one of the first who had I wouldn't say it didn't have the first app store, but it had the first, I'd probably say, vast range of apps.
It did. Yeah, I used to have the 4S. Is it A or S?
S.
4S.
Yeah.
And that was noticeable when I made the leap to Google when the first Pixel came out. The App Store was lacking in the games front compared to what the Apple Store did.
I suppose that's the difference potentially is. I'd say it's not as much now because it's quite easy to put the same app on both.
Yeah.
Finding a company that's released an app just specific to one or the other is very rare.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the other reason why they'd have a powerful GPU, powerful for the phone, in quotes.
Powerful.
Yes. Is mainly for the video. It's pretty good. It can supposedly here it could do 4K Dolby Vision. They all can. But the Max, which has the slightly more powerful GPU, can go all the way up to 100 FPS.
Do you need to have 4K on a mobile device that's so small though?
Admittedly, I find.
I mean, that's a Max. The Max is anything but small.
But
how large is that one?
That is the.
It's like bordering 7-inch. Oh,
you're essentially at the tablet territory.
Yes, you are bordering tablets. Yeah, it's a.
It's approaching it.
It's a 6.9 rather than a 6.1. But admittedly, if you got, for instance, a Sony, some Mark III, can't remember again. If you got that 4K, because that has I believe it has a full frame sensor that does full frame 4K, which is going to be much higher quality than a 4K sensor that's less than a couple of half a centimeter across, which is what the phone sensors are. Now some of them are putting them at different, trying to bury them in the phone, making them a bit better, and then having lenses to help, but you're never going to get the same quality as a proper dedicated camera with a full frame. You'll get good quality from the phones, don't get me wrong, because with the AI upscaling and things like that that's coming in, they're going to be fantastic.
Oh, what you mean like by Samsung? If you zoom into a round thing, it turns into the moon.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was very bad.
So for instance, like I know the iPhones are very good for cameras. Some are better, some are worse, but
I mean, there was a movie that hit the box office that was pretty much predominantly filmed on an iPhone.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Which is pretty insane if you're achieving that kind of level of quality.
The one way of doing it is I watched a YouTube channel called Corridor Digital.
Oh yeah, of course.
They kind of recreated the what is it, where he goes, this is Sparta.
Oh yeah.
From 300.
Yes, 300. You know when they're fighting, when Leonidas is fighting, it zooms in and out at different sections. Corridor Digital managed to recreate that with one with 3 different iPhones, and then I believe later on they managed to get an app that captures images from all the cameras.
Okay.
So when they did it originally, they 3D printed a frame which held 3 cameras, and they had to crop them in and fade them in and out subtly, so it zoomed right in. But as a shot on a phone, it was really good.
Impressive.
Yeah. Again, you're not going to beat a Red or the Sony's or the is it Aria cameras?
I know which ones you're talking about. I don't know the names, but you're right. You're never going to beat them, but this is just classic Apple. This is every now and then there'll be this one niche thing, you
AI.
know, that they do really, really well. And you're like,
Well,
okay,
not
this
true.
kind of justifies the price.
That's kind of what the prices have gone up. It's
Yeah,
because of the AI and all the. I'd say recently, I am an Apple fanboy. Let's just get that out of the way. But even I've stuck with the 13 because I've not seen enough of an increase in performance or quality or really anything. I want something new. Annoyingly, I really want a fold-in phone.
Yeah.
Really?
I just want to try one out for a bit. And I know if
Okay.
Apple do it, it's going to be to a.
I know it'll work. I know I won't have to have
Yeah.
any of the issues that Samsung went through and
That's
quite a
because
lot of
they're
the other
beta
companies.
testing it for them.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
No,
Samsung
exactly.
have recently, their newest iteration of the Flip and the Fold, they've almost managed to get rid of the crease.
Yes,
Almost.
almost.
So
Yeah.
I think another iteration, it'll be fine.
It'll be soon.
Yeah.
I mean, this is classic Apple. Like they're very rarely first to something.
Yeah.
But they're normally the first to perfect it.
Yeah.
Is generally how it goes. Which is why a lot of people give them a lot of gripe.
I'd like a folding phone when they're good.
Yeah, that's
Because
kind of one way.
I could see the use of it as a tablet
Mm.
and as a phone that way.
Yeah, I'd like the. Is it Huawei have done it? The
Oh,
three.
the
The three, I
fold.
think, is really interesting
It's
because you've got
outrageous.
you've got one screen, and then you flip it up, and you've got
Two,
two, which
yeah,
I really
then
like,
you
rather
flip it
than
again,
having
yeah.
just one screen that goes all the way around. I think that's a good way of doing it, but it's incredibly tough to.
It's no. I don't know. I also just trying to imagine, you know, being on public transport, and be like, right, sorry guys, let me just. You just keep
unfolding the
unfolding
scroll.
it. Yeah, you're just like, do I really need this?
Yeah.
In terms of your question of like, oh, do we really need like 4K kind of screens on phones? I don't know. Maybe not necessarily, but it's just every now and then, at least for me personally, like I've got my TV downstairs, and that's 4K. But every now and then, I'm just like, I want to watch a movie, but I kind of want to watch it in bed. I don't have a TV upstairs in my room, but also don't have an iPad. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Screw it. Just have my phone, and I don't know. It works. It works really well, and I'm like,
Get an iPad.
no, of course.
I don't get it, but fair enough.
I mean, like, evidently there's enough people seeing the benefit in it.
Yeah, I'm just not one of those. And it's weird because I'm the one that likes doing video,
Yeah.
and I also love the cinema.
Mm.
But at the same time, if I want to experience a film or a TV show, I want to sit in front of the TV for a more
Yes,
cinematic experience.
Yeah.
And actually carve the time out to do that.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
The only time I watch videos on my phone is when my fiance force feeds me TikToks before going to bed.
Are you disappointed? I mean, random segue, but are you disappointed that the TikTok ban didn't come here?
Yes, very. I could gain at least 30 minutes a day, which is a fair amount in a week
Nice.
of sleep.
Be careful. I mean,
Sorry, everyone. I don't do the TikTok. I've even tried posting into it. I just don't get it.
no. It's one of the few apps that I don't know, just refuse to ever install because I just kept getting the normal TikTok videos on Instagram
Just
and
a bit
YouTube
later.
Shorts, and I'm just like, I don't even have the app. Why am I getting these?
I really dislike the algorithm. When you initially download it, if you're a straight bloke, it seems to be you get boobs for the first at least week until you've actually found stuff. And you have to search for things to find interests.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that was very annoying, especially seeing that I actually deleted it and then re-downloaded it because Amy kept sending me all these bloody TikToks to watch. And yeah, that was very annoying. I finally got rid of it all now on the algorithm.
Nice. Well, I was going to say that this is part of the reason why I actually don't mind the YouTube Shorts algorithm. So, because YouTube Shorts came after, obviously YouTube has been around for so long. So all the shorts were based on your video content that you watched.
Yeah.
I've noticed it.
And a lot of the creators do it.
Yes.
Like the creators are that you watch create the shorts. So
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
good on that.
And then it throws you things from similar genres, so you don't get like something that's so like left field.
Yeah. That's how Instagram used to be. It used to be just the people you followed, and then you get maybe one suggestion in 100.
True.
Shall we move on to our next topic?
I think we should.
That's a bright idea.
Shall we shed some light on the situation?
So you know how last time we were talking about how we don't spend much money on stupid things.
Oh,
No. Why would we ever do that? No.
I don't have a light obsession.
We're all about saving money and
Definitely.
being responsible with our money.
Responsible
Brand new
adults.
laptop, for instance.
Ignore that.
That's his.
Luke, would you like to?
Yes, behind me, if you're watching on video, there's been a glowing orb, which we're going to bring forward now.
You may have noticed it lighting up the
It's
area.
lighting up the entire area, which is why it wasn't on camera. And the camera actually blows it out slightly because it's brighter than the lights we're probably using in the studio now.
We could probably put some snippets of video.
Oh, yes.
on the YouTube video. Sorry to everyone listening to us.
So we've got in front of us, imagine lots of triangles connected together. They are made of a translucent material to diffuse light. Each individual triangle has an RGB array behind it. Each individual array, not just a single LED, an array. And this is so that you can get spatial lighting. And spatial lighting means the lighting affects the surrounding area it sits in. So it kind of looks like an illuminated Eden project. We backed it on Kickstarter. Well, basically, I was sat in the office and I was like, "Hey, Gresh, this looks really cool. Do you want me to get you one too?"
It was like, oh, they've got a deal on. And I was like, yeah, go on then.
So we got one each, and we've just received them. I think it was last week, and yeah, they're really cool. At the moment, the app is still in beta test mode for Android, so it's a little bit more glitchy for me than it is for you.
It works wonderful on Apple.
Yeah, as always, they have put Apple first.
Oh yeah,
because
go Apple.
Who are more likely to spend a ridiculous amount of money on a thing that doesn't actually have a pure need
That's
than
true.
Apple
It
consumers,
is valid.
as we've just talked about for the past 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really interesting product. It's made by a small group of engineers. I think you've got the blurb in front of you.
Yeah,
still.
actually, I must say, I don't have the box here with me, but the actual unboxing experience was super lovely.
It's like a Google product. The way
Yes,
it had messages
really
on
was.
the way.
Yep. There were prints on it, and then once you opened it up, the actual product was in a safety bag, and I don't know, it was just pleasant. It was
It was
pleasant.
nice.
But on top of that, they kind of had a little card for everyone on video. But it's effectively a little card, and then right in the back of it is a picture of the team that worked on it, which I believe is just 6 or 5 people.
Oh yeah,
No, a little bit more.
it's
7?
just a few.
7 people. 7 people and all their signatures. And it really makes you realize just how small this company is. And I don't know, it's quite impressive, like what they've managed to achieve.
Yeah, I remember when I first subscribed to Kickstarter, they had a 3D print of the design, and they were showing like, yes, we will get it manufactured, but it still had like the layer lines you could see now and then some of the shots. But the fact that they've managed to actually get it essentially mass produced, and I believe they're now for sale online as well. So yeah, GLORB, GLORB is definitely worth looking up.
Just double check the spelling, there you go.
Yeah, dyslexia and all that. Do you want to talk about how you can change on the app?
Yes, so on the app, I annoyingly don't think we've actually connected to it. So this is actually my GLORB that I brought over from my house, so I don't think it's actually...
Mine is completely hemmed into.
It was a bit difficult to grab out of. But effectively, the first thing you're kind of introduced to on the app is two effective panels. One is just a whole selection of colours. So you can kind of have a look. It's like single colour, all the way to rainbow, all the way to fire. The fire is very, very cool.
Should we try the fire?
I don't think it's going to be connected to it.
Oh,
sadly.
is it over Wi-Fi?
It's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but the thing is, this was already connected on Wi-Fi there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's I don't know.
It's not designed to go between properties at the moment. I'm sure it'll be easier when the app's completed.
Yes. Also, it's such an odd use case, right?
Yeah.
No one's really going to be taking one. Like most of these, will sit in a home.
Yeah.
But the other panel within the app is completely for animations. So you can get a solid color animation if you wanted, or like a running feature, which is quite cool, where it you kind of have layers of panels just moving all the way around, and the color just transitions, and it transitions really well. There's a frizzles one, which it kind of seems quite natural and glowy. Works really well with the fire, I thought. But the nice thing about these is that you can also change the colors that goes into each of these animations. So if you're not happy with kind of the white, red, and the orange that they've picked for the fire animation, and you want a particular hue, you can go down select those colors. So you can really break that down. Also, it has a sound reactive feature as well, which you can turn on.
Yeah. That's quite fun. I found it after a while.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's just there's no scroll bar. So you have to touch the screen and push up, and didn't realise till I saw your one.
Might be worth for the YouTube viewers putting some videos on it later.
I think you already captured a fair amount of yours.
I've got a fair few because I Instagrammed the crap out of it.
Yeah. It's very cool.
It's currently retailing €199 for the UK plug variant. Their full price is €219. There is currently now a back order on them because they've completely sold out the UK plug variant until May 25. Yeah, if you want something I genuinely think it's like probably one of the most original lights that I've seen in a while. Yep. It's not bulb driven. It's not just a dumb LED stuck in the middle that changes all the panels at once. It's actually been designed nicely, and I'm going to love mine to bits. Yeah. And until the day it finally burns out. Hopefully it's a while.
I mean, at the end of the day, you do have to remember this is, a Kickstarter-based project. You have to remember they've kind of come from, very early beginnings. So, there were a couple issues on mine, for instance, where, some of the panel gaps were a bit larger, but all of it was just pop in. Yeah. So you just had to put a little bit of force and it just popped in.
Yeah, they're all hand manufactured.
They are all hand manufactured because that's where
for hand manufacturing it looks fantastic.
Exactly.
I mean, in itself, it looks like not a Kickstarter product.
Yes, exactly.
It genuinely looks like
one of the most complete Kickstarter.
Yes,
projects
it is very
I've
complete.
seen.
I mean, so far
quick as well.
They delivered really quickly. I did unfortunately get a slightly dodgy power supply, but it was a bog standard UK 3-pin to USB-C. So literally I think I either had one lying around or I bought one, and
yeah, I've raised a ticket, and I'm sure they'll swap it out as
well at some point. I mean, the thing is, you have to remember these are issues that other companies face on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So when you're starting up, it's always it's not that they completely overlooked everything, or they just didn't really, they just disregarded it. No, it's just they're a team of seven trying to deliver this product globally.
I mean, I've gone from Luke will remember my pains with Nanoleaf.
Oh yes.
I had a lot of problems with them, and I don't know if it was just down to them, but I think it was. Definitely was. But they have something like that's a similar shape, as in, but wall panels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this looks a lot brighter, and it's smaller. Even the individual triangles that they've got. It looks really good, and that
is because each panel has an array, which is unheard of, I think, for a thing like this.
I don't know if you're able to see on camera, but the way that it's shifting around the light, it looks like the actual panels are moving. It's really mesmerizing, actually, to watch.
I think
I've lost it now.
I think mesmerizing is the key word. Actually, I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
To be honest,
that is exactly what they've created.
I remember you guys backing this, and I was like, "Oh, why would you?" Because I saw I was like, it looks interesting, but I was like,
Now you get it.
Yeah, I think I just didn't really understand what it was meant to be. At the time, but actually seeing it like this, knowing I could watch it all day, it's
it is pretty legit.
But I can see. Yeah, I would like to see what other things they bring out in the
Yeah.
future, because if they've got that quality at such a startup,
There was talk of
You said a larger
a
one, right?
larger one and I think a smaller one. So I think this will be the first range they do. Will be this sort of shape.
yeah.
But I'll be interested to see if they start to do so. This currently at the moment it's on a stand, which is of a similar geometric pattern. But you can also use this stand as a ceiling mount with a hook. You'd have to have a power to USB converter on the ceiling, of course. So not practical for everybody. Maybe practical if you have it standing behind a desk and you don't mind the cable going up the wall.
Actually, it's not too bad as a like if you had a bunch of these and you were like setting up for a party or something, just have them temporarily.
So something that we haven't experimented with because we've only got one each, and you can actually also make them communicate to each other. So
This
you
is
know
news to
when you
me.
have, you know when you have these big art exhibitions,
Yes.
something like Eye of the Tiger
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Bristol, where you've got these incredible light exhibitions where you've got animations all over the walls from light. They can actually do that with these, and you can program it. I believe it uses the same. I can't remember what the COM port is, but there's a theater-based COM port that we use for lighting, and you can connect it to that. So you can actually create this magical light show using them.
That's cool.
It's a bit like for enthusiasts, by enthusiasts.
Oh yes.
Pretty much.
Because like you're saying, I believe earlier you said it could connect to other.
Yeah, so the forwards compatibility to other systems. So one of the reasons I wanted it was it's going to be Philips Hue compatible at some point, which is great because at the moment the YouTube studio is all Philips Hue bulbs. Which means that I can then press the button on the wall, hopefully,
And that should
everything
change.
turns on.
Yeah.
At the moment, I put it on a smart plug
Yeah.
just to get by at the moment.
If you can match it all to the same colour, it'd be even.
Yes.
Yeah. All the same
Well,
pattern.
that's the reason I've done Philips Hue. At the moment, I've got a white wall, and instead of painting it, I
You
paint
use the
it
light.
with light.
It's a smart way of doing it.
Every episode, I do a different colour backdrop depending on the theme.
Means you don't need for a green screen. You don't need any for that. Yeah. It's smart.
I mean,
it's smart.
yeah, I will be going to a different lighting system.
I can recommend Philips Hue,
And
I can recommend GLORB.
I will be doing that because I've had a few problems with mine.
Yeah.
Just connection issues, or if I move house, for instance, I basically have to factory reset everything. Sometimes
what?
I could be doing something wrong. I've tried on forums, but
That sounds like way too much.
That is a common thing. It normally is. So with the Philips system, I believe when you move house, the thing you have to reset is the connection to the hub only.
yes, that's the one thing I really like, and as well as with the hub of the Philips Hue, is it creates its own Wi-Fi network.
Yes.
So that you're not constantly fighting with other things on your network.
Yes.
Like your phones, your laptops, and every other device that we've got that connects to Wi-Fi.
You're not losing bandwidth to your own
And
devices.
I have noticed that sometimes it's very slow. I've known it. I've known the lights come on at 3:00 in the morning,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
just randomly, really, really bright.
nice. Wonderful way to wake up.
Yeah,
Lovely.
I used to think it was 5:00 and ready to get up.
That is a bit of an issue.
And I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, no, I can go back to sleep. And then speaking to said smart assistant to turn it off, and he goes, no, the light's off. Go on the app. No, the light's off.
Oh dear.
Oh,
So I have to get up and actually manually
Turn the
switch it
switch
off.
off.
Yeah.
nah.
That's bad.
So I will
That
be
ain't it.
changing.
That ain't it.
So far, I bought 6 lights from
Nanoleaf.
Nanoleaf, and I've got to 1 left. They all still work, as in terms of producing light.
But in terms
Not
of
the right
connecting,
type and when.
No, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, wow. That's quite a bad failure rate.
So,
that's really bad.
but the fact that I've seen this and the startup can do that
yeah.
has made me think. I think I might switch.
Yeah.
And that one, yeah, I think that on a pedestal will look really nice, or potentially on a tall shelf, something like that.
Oh, yes.
Yep, that's exactly where it's going in my living
Yes.
room. Tall
Yeah.
shelf.
So is mine. It illuminates the corner of the room.
Yeah, I'm missing some lights in my 3D print area of my room.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it is a bit of a dark corner.
Yeah, so something like that, other than another IKEA light. So it's like one of those, not another one.
Not another one.
But yes, that's seeing that has definitely made me want to get one.
The
Very
GLORB,
nice.
everybody.
Now, I believe a certain somebody went on a adventure
I did go on an adventure.
to London.
I know this little Wiltshire homeboy. He
This-
went on the train and went all the way to the centre of London.
Now, whoever doesn't know him, Luke in big cities
Don't do it.
is a no.
No. Before that, Luke is a country boy
I am.
through and through. Him in the city is just like a lost little puppy.
If I've left Wiltshire, there's something wrong with me.
Yep.
Please take
Please
me to the
return him
nearest
back.
police officer and make sure I get home.
You know how Caleb in Clarkson's farm
That's me.
says
Yep.
says his son is foreign because he was born in Oxfordshire.
Yep.
Luke is very much of the same mindset. I reckon.
If Caleb was an engineer, that would
That's
be
Luke.
you. Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
So
No.
yes, I went to the big city, the big smoke, and I went to the design museum. Not for the one that everyone thought I'd be going for, but if I was to say, "Hey Barbie," what would you say?
Oh,
It's so cringy.
The correct answer is, "Hey Ken."
Nah.
So I went to here's a schematic for everyone video, the Barbie exhibit, and the design museum as well. So yes, I actually joked about this before, saying I'm going to bring it up on the thing, and no, I am going to bring it up on the thing. Do you know what?
Perfectly pink.
You know what? It's not as cringy as you think, because I think I enjoyed it for reasons that my fiance, who asked me to go, enjoyed it for differently. So she enjoyed it because she had lots of Barbie dolls, and she, of course, is a female who enjoys dressing up in lots of fancy clothes, and Barbie was like the first entry to that wardrobe filling nightmare. But I enjoyed it because the way that the exhibit was set out was really quite interesting. So when you first walk in, there's a plinth with the original Barbie doll behind it, and then a full story of how it began. In, I believe it was 1959. There you go, it's on the pattern, so just to remind me. And it was a single doll, and nobody really thought anything of it other than the fact that it sold loads. The thing that is interesting is it was predominantly focused on a particular type at that point, being the middle-class white person. So race has a big thing to do with this Barbie story. It wasn't until the 80s they produced their first black doll of a female Barbie.
That kind of lines up with like historical civil rights
Exactly.
movements and all that.
And it was interesting to see how they started to introduce other races such as Spanish and Mexican at a similar time period. It's just really interesting to see how these dolls as well shaped or reflected the time periods as well. So there's of course, like, you have all the fashion trends from the time, so all of the different dolls had outfits that you'd associate with those time periods. But not only that, the thing that I noticed, which Amy noticed as well actually, was the quality. So the quality of production was incredible in the 50s.
Oh,
Because everything's handmade.
of course.
Every outfit was
course.
hand sewn by somebody.
Yeah.
They were punched out, cut out, hand sewn, all in the fabrics, that essentially a scale fabric of the entire outfit.
Damn.
It's the quality and the detail was incredible. Then you move through to the 80s, and you can see that things are maybe a little bit more
Mass manufactured.
Mass manufactured. You got some, but only because like the buttons have changed. Like you've got plastics a bit more often.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it still reflected the clothing of the time. In fact, right up into, I'd say the pinnacle of the doll and the clothing was probably the early 2000s when I was growing up, and so was Amy. Because you've still got these, I wouldn't say handmade, but they're produced out of fabrics. All of the buttons are still there. You've still got seams in the right places. You've still got denim made of denim. And the hair and all of the facial details have increased to the point where it actually looks like somebody now. It looks less like a doll.
Yeah. That's
The
creepy.
thing that I noticed the most was looking at the modern ones they had in there. Of course, I haven't looked at toys in the Barbie section for quite a while, but
It's understandable.
the quality is so low. All
Yeah.
of the like, there is literally two things they make. They make a T-shirt now and trousers, and they will print everything onto it.
Really?
So the denim jacket now is just a T-shirt cut out and then printed onto it as denim. No buttons, no
okay.
seams other than the T-shirt seams. And not only that, the plastic models themselves, they seem to have lost all of their realistic detailing on the hair. It's now that really glossy plastic colour. So it's interesting that it feels almost like a shame that I went to this exhibit and I went, if it was good enough, I would have gone, oh, maybe I'll get one for Amy for Christmas. No, they're just not that good anymore.
It's, I mean, this is sadly, this is one of those things that happens in just modern companies. This seems to be happening right now, especially in most modern companies, where it's you have so many competitors that are they're ripping off the same product. Because let's say obviously Barbie's patent came out whenever it did, that patent's gonna run out,
Yeah.
and then anybody across the world can copy you.
Yeah.
And if they're going to copy and sell it for a little bit cheaper, you're losing margins. You're losing sales.
It just, I don't know. It just feels like such a shame because of course
it's a shame. Of course,
when we were kids as well, you guys probably saw the absolute end of Action Man, which was like the male version of this.
Yeah.
I feel like that had a similar pattern because I
Yeah.
did have a few Action Men. I had some that were my uncle's, in fact, which are from the 70s. Oh yeah, the clothing was insane. It was like someone had made an actual outfit and put it on this doll, and the hair was like actual like individual fibers.
I mean, like the old Barbies and things. The original dolls, should we say, used to be made of real hair.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
and then the Action Men seemed to take the term for the worst earlier. So in the noughties, you suddenly had this plastic bold hair that had been painted black. You lost all of that realism. Some of the outfits were still pretty good, but they were still very stiff and monoposy. It feels like Barbie's gone a very similar way now. But the one other thing that I did want to raise that was actually quite impressive that I didn't know. Did you know that Philips Stark Cartel chairs had a Barbie scaled box range?
no,
I did not know this until you posted a picture.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, yeah, that's really cool. And what I then Googled it, and when I got back, Cartel have released those full size in those colours as a limited edition.
For a mere price of 500 or 600
There's something
pounds
around there, yeah.
Yep.
Well, speaking of price, sorry if you heard my phone typing.
Tappy, tappy, tappy.
I've just did a quick Google. As of July 2023, the most expensive Barbie ever sold at auction reached more than $300,000.
Whoa.
That is insanity.
That is. Imagine if you did like the grammage of Barbie against the dollars as well.
It's crazy.
You'd probably be getting into better than gold territory.
Yeah, no,
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
but yeah, that's why I was trying to Google a lot of the original ones, like from your 1959s, are selling for 27,000.
I'm not surprised,
Yeah.
especially if you've held on to one in like mint
I mean,
packaging.
these ones are they're in
Yeah.
the packaging. They're like brand new.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we've seen this time and time and again with so many random things from kind of that era. If it's in good nick, looked after, or maybe even in original packaging, things are going to go for crazy amounts of money.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, I thought I would see.
Yeah, no, it's always funny. Check. Oh dear, I'm just seeing Luke pull up his
I wanted
pictures,
to bring this
and
up as
all I
well.
see is just pure hot pink.
There's a lot of pink. On the photo. But I thought it was also quite interesting because I was somewhat of an Andy Warhol fan when I was doing art at school, and I didn't have a clue that he'd done a Barbie.
Oh, that's
picture.
cool.
Didn't
So yeah, I'll try and post it onto the video. There's a picture of Andy Warhol that was there holding up an image of Barbie that he produced,
Very cool.
which was done in 1986. So yeah, I didn't know they'd done that. That was quite interesting.
So they had a
No, I definitely-
collaboration,
I
They had a
basically.
collaboration. Well, I don't know if Andy Warhol had a collaborator, if he just went off and went, you know what, that's iconic. I'm going to paint it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh yeah,
Because it's kind of how he worked, mainly.
Yeah.
that could be it. I could see
Yeah.
that.
He probably saw it and thought, "Do you know what? That's
And of course, the other thing that was
Might as well.
in the same room was like, there was loads of Vogue covers
Oh,
of
of course.
Barbie on.
I-
I was
yeah.
expecting that. And they also had some of the outfits from the new film as well.
Oh,
Well, they had
very
an
cool.
outfit from the new film and 2 fashion pieces made based on Barbie outfits that had gone on the runway as well. which is
Interesting.
quite interesting. So even though it's a doll made for young kids, it also it's a design icon, and it's
It has an interesting history.
got an interesting history. It's changed over the times as
Yep.
people have become more accepting with other people. And most recently, they've done a load of disability ones.
Yes,
and there's an
disability
LGBT range.
Also, I believe jobs.
Yes, jobs.
So like previously, finding a Barbie as I want to say like a mechanical and like,
Yeah,
like
it was
something
near
like that
impossible.
would have been unheard of.
Yeah, they did an army one
Yes.
recently, which was
Yes.
interesting. It's like, oh, that's almost like an action man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So if you were into that kind of thing as a youngster, that's a really good thing to see. The other thing that made me like, oh my days, that is bad. There was a game of what do you want to grow up when you're older, from the Barbie times.
Oh no, from the
Do you want-
50s.
I think it was the early 60s.
Oh boy.
Do you want to guess one of those cards that is just incredibly inappropriate to put on a card now? I can't remember if I've got a picture of it or not, but I remember it so well. It was so bad.
How bad?
It's just mother as a job.
Oh.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's changed over the years a lot.
It's
It's
one of
good
those
to see progression, but it's also bad to see how bad it was.
It's a bit of fun.
Oh,
It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun.
so yeah.
I suppose one bad thing about this is that how the quality is diminished, like you
Yeah.
said, over time.
It's
Like,
disappointing.
you've gone from something. I bet the first injection molded were pretty high
Yeah,
quality.
they
Not as good
were.
as
I said I think in the 2000s they'd hit the
Yeah.
pinnacle,
yeah.
and then they've gone downhill again.
Well, I mean, I'm willing to bet, most of at the time when they first kind of did their first injection molded, it would have been in the same headquarters
Yeah.
where the rest of Barbie was probably manufactured.
Were they? I could be wrong. I think they put. I bet they were injection molded from the start, weren't they?
yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Oh, were they?
So I imagine,
Okay.
and it was the clothes that were handmade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I imagine that they were, like you're saying, the quality's just gone downhill down to cost cutting.
It was bad.
Well, I mean, they would have also moved so much of their production, out
Elsewhere.
of country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's trying to control quality when you're not there, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Is so incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've seen a similar thing. So when I was young, I used to collect all the Star Wars 4 3/4. Is it 3 3/4? Something like that. Toys, and I've looked at them now in the shops, and boy, their quality is awful.
I mean,
you can tell.
You could even go the opposite way, like what Lego has done.
Legos. Yeah.
They've kept. I mean, I've got Legos from, 2000s ish era.
Yeah.
I've played with Lego for many years, as most
Child.
yes.
No. I mean, what Lego's done is
They've just increased the cost, the price.
well, they've increased the cost, but I don't know. It's kept up with inflation, but well, I mean, let's say it has. It's gone beyond that. But
Funny enough, I
they've
actually
maintained
watched a
quality.
video on this.
Oh, have they?
I have as
Yeah,
well.
that same one, and it's actually become. If you look at the reason why they're so expensive these days is, you just get more.
Yeah.
Like the
yeah.
actual.
It's the cost per brick they were saying, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Yes.
it stayed.
It stayed the same.
It's-
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's gone down by. I think it was like
It's
a penny.
just that there's so much better models.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the original, there was a really good example that came out. It was a Star Wars one.
Oh, there's the X-wing was one of them, and
Yeah.
the Falcon are the two
The
comparisons.
Falcon is
they
what
do.
I'm thinking of, where you saw the original, the first attempt,
Yeah.
and then you see the latest one,
Yeah.
and you see how much more detail. I mean, yes, admittedly, it's bigger.
Essentially, it's to scale of the minifix now. And it's
Yes.
got all the
Yes.
detail to go with it, whilst the original one was, it's the shape of the Falcon, and you can get in the cockpit, and the ramp goes down, there's a little area.
Yeah.
And it's a similar thing with the 4 3/4. When it hit the early 2000s, they did a similar thing where they made like a massive scale of the X-Wing. So it was like maybe 2.5, 3 foot long, when the original toy was about 1 to 1.5. They've done a similar thing with Lego kits essentially now, so it's all part of the system.
Yeah. I think rumor has it they're going to do a Star Destroyer is what I would like.
That would be insane.
Like redoing.
That's just a dining table.
I mean,
Yeah, like redoing it. The other one was about 1 meter and a bit.
they did the Venator, I believe,
Yeah.
like
It wasn't-
the traditional 2-tower red.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what they've done. But this one is to replace, not to replace, but to update the
massive grey Star
the one they
Destroyer.
did. Because if you actually look,
Right.
I remember seeing it. God, that's got so much detail. And I actually looked back recently.
Once you look into it, there's not much.
You're like,
No.
oh, and then you look at what they've got now. I think it's because we've become accustomed to what they have now.
Yeah. And there's also rumours of the Black Pearl, mate.
Oh,
yes.
Well, I mean, interestingly enough, I was reading up somewhere that right now, just on average, because people have realized, how Lego work. They basically kind of produce a particular piece of Lego, and then at some point they phase it out, and they phase it out pretty quickly. And because of that, there are quite a lot of Lego sets that are just going up in value.
Yeah.
And quite a lot of them are beating gold.
Yes.
Well,
So
some of them
investing in Lego
yeah.
is
Oh, I think I read a similar thing. They've gone up quicker than the stock market has. I mean, that's not difficult right now.
no.
But as in they've if you look at traditional, you go, oh, can it be a company? Yes.
yeah.
The amount that it's gone up by, some of them have like more than doubled, even like 10 times the value.
Oh, yeah.
There were some people who buy 2 sets, one to build
One to actually build and one to
and-
keep. Yeah.
yeah.
If you actually visit their headquarters, they have they basically have one-offs. So they have sets that you can't buy elsewhere.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you ever go,
That's super rare.
so one of my friends, you know who you are, big Lego fan. He's always said, if we were to ever go to the headquarters, we'd go with empty backpacks, empty bags,
Yeah.
and we'd stock up on everything because they're all one-off builds.
Yeah.
They're all one-off builds, and you can only get them from the headquarters, which is, I'm trying to remember which country. It's one of the Scandinavian countries, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, but
So
what
what
it
I'm
means...
hearing is road trip.
What I'm hearing is road trip. There's also a small office in Slough. I drove past the other day on the way back.
Yeah, but
I don't know what they do there.
they have a fair few offices around.
Are they just like,
It
might
might
just
just
be
be the regional.
yeah,
That's
regional?
what it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it
it
might just
was.
be that.
I also noticed there was HTC, which I didn't even know still existed around there.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Are you sure they just forgot to pick up the sign when they left?
I don't know. I feel they must do something other than phones now, right? If they do
Yeah.
stuff.
There was something. There was again another YouTube video I watched, and I can't remember, but they do something. They've been bought and sold so many times,
Yeah.
and I think they.
I used to love my HTC phone.
I remember they were great phones.
Yeah. That's because you could jailbreak them. That's exactly what I did.
This is going to be my only mention of it. But pardon?
What?
What?
Oh, nothing.
No. I was going to say recently, Lego has been looking at other franchises that are doing really, really well, driving lots of viewership, driving lots of buyers.
Accelerating the development.
Accelerating the
It's about
development.
F1.
And they've chosen to effectively partner up and create a bunch of Formula One sets that just I mean, you can tell they started with the McLaren, the large McLaren Technic set. It did so well that they've released a Mercedes, a Ferrari, and now they've had a full F1 range.
You've got the full grid now in the smaller ones.
Now,
Okay.
I'm not going to say
It's
much,
alright,
but
it's
we're going to move on in 20 seconds, I promise. Now, I know you're not a big fan of F1, but you're gonna have to admit, look at the
Very
impact.
nice kits.
Look at the impact they're having on businesses and other companies
know.
across the world. That is just how big the pinnacle of motorsport racing is. I love rally. Don't get me wrong. I love rally. But I don't see them doing this.
as soon as the Conor McRae rally game stopped, you knew that it was over for
Yeah.
big time at rally, right?
All right. Well, I mean, conveniently, we were chatting about games.
I think that's a
I think that's a pretty good segue to the geeking out section.
Into geeking out.
or a segue to our sponsors.
I wish. I believe you have a game.
I do. So, let me just lean down and get the book for those in video. Today,
is
so last
this?
time we talked about Trench Crusade, and this time we're talking about Idols of Torment.
First of all, I'm just looking at the title page. That is
yeah.
very cool artwork.
Yeah, so all the
front cover
artwork
is-
is like heavy metal band covers, and
It
that's
reminds me
probably-
like you get on the vinyl,
so
like
yeah.
your big vinyl covers.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah.
So this was a Kickstarter campaign as well. This was, I think it was either during COVID or just after, and I'm number 67 on
That's
here.
very cool.
So yes, they're all numbered.
Do you live on Kickstarter?
I think he does. I'm very concerned now. How many long-term projects have you backed that haven't paid out yet?
None actually.
Okay.
How
I
many
think
have you
that's not
done?
bad.
I've backed somewhere around 12 Kickstarter projects.
Jeez.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because all the board game ones always actually deliver.
That's fair. Because I was going to say, in general, Kickstarter's obviously quite risky.
Yeah.
But I always back people that I. So this one was done by someone on YouTube. So you know he had a lot of people watching him.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are normally. So I've backed a lot of miniature builders. So they make pewter miniatures of various things, and they always they're existing companies normally.
Okay.
So they just want to expand their range, and they need the money for the molds. Basically,
Fair
is half of it. So this Idols of Torment is what I'd call a small skirmish game. Small skirmish is that doesn't take incredibly long time to take. I think it's about 45 minutes to an hour. It's meant to be.
That's pretty quick for these types of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. It's very
It's
surprising.
got a very nice book with lots of different artwork in it. But essentially, the idea is. So yeah, I'll just try and hold
Yeah,
that up.
this is
That's
like incredibly gorgeous, or like
That is
really
really
gorgeous
nice.
artwork.
It's also it's reminiscent of the early Warhammer books. It's all black and white pencil drawings, and a lot of it, which is very very dark and gothic. It's absolutely beautiful. So I would recommend you check out the website.
It's laid out. Sorry, just saw you flicking through.
It is
It's
gorgeous.
it's laid out very much like what Warhammer
It is.
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, yeah.
So the idea is that essentially you've got a warband, and your warbands can be different types of people. It's similar to Warhammer, but all the chaosy people. So there's people like the Vane, which are more fleshy, coloured people. They're all covered in white bandages. You got people like the Instants, which are kind of cinchy. They're like semi demons in blue and gold.
Cool.
The Vile, very nurgly.
Yeah, I can see that.
The idea is that you've got a warband. You have a large table, let's say probably a table. We played on a table about this big already, me and John. Once again, John just brought up.
Another
boy.
I
another
think he'll
game
come on for it.
and another one.
One day we
I
will
introduced-
have him over as a guest.
I introduced him to this one though.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah. So I backed this, and I got the book, unlike the other ones. You have a load of terrain. So the thing is, you've got lots of large terrain that you make yourself out of normally junk. I'm doing like, you can get this downloads of famous sculptures online and then 3D print them.
I was gonna say, has the video been?
Not yet. I haven't done any videos for this.
No,
yet.
no, not for this one. You mentioned Terrain.
Terrain.
The original.
Oh yeah. So the videos are coming. There's 4 in the pipeline.
On the way.
It is worth waiting for them.
I've done lots of cinematic videos at the end of it. So you have a large terrain set. All of the terrain needs to be spaced to some size. You have, I think it's small, medium, large terrain, and your warband starts in set locations that you place on the board. You then have an opponent who does the same, and in amongst all the terrain, these are lost souls that walk around. So it's like having an NPC character in the game.
Okay.
Your goal is to essentially capture and or kill these souls, because where they are is purgatory.
Oh.
So this is the space between basically heaven, hell, and earth.
Yeah.
So you are essentially soul collectors. And what you have to do is you have to try and manipulate your characters to be able to try and get the souls quickly. You can also attack the opposite warband if they're about to take them and you need them.
Of course, yeah.
So there's a bit of battle in it as well. It's a lot more simple rules, like hit the simplify button on the Warhammer rules again. But there's one really cool bit on this game. So all games that I've seen before, the terrain is static.
Oh.
But in this game, there's a certain role that you can get, or a certain card, I think it might be. I can't remember, I've played it in a while. But you essentially what happens is something happens, so all of the terrain either rotates or swaps. So you could be like approaching this soul, and all of a sudden, oh no, it's on the other side of the table, just like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And
That's
it's a
very cool.
really fun mechanic, and that's why I wanted to bring it up today as
Cool.
like the game as let's chat about. But yeah, if you don't know already, go on to Black Magic Craft on YouTube. He does essentially terrain videos. He is like my inspiration for why I wanted to start doing terrain videos and model baking on YouTube. And he and I believe one other chap called, who's written as JP, not the JP we know, but JP. Although it might be him, and JP Pereira have made this game, and I'd recommend you go onto their website of Idols of Torment to look it up further. He's also got a load of videos where he has made the terrain for his version, because of course he goes along to game shows and he demos this as well now.
That's very cool.
So he's made some beautiful, massive terrain, giant bridges, giant sculptures. And the way it's written is the terrain you build, you're kind of encouraged as you build the terrain to give it areas that you can place all of the models on.
Okay.
So essentially, if you do a staircase that goes to nowhere, cool, the soul might accidentally go up there and just get stuck and then have to walk back again. So it adds an extra bit of randomness mechanic to it.
So like the terrain is it's limited. If you had some stairs that went up for a while and then went down the other side,
Yeah,
it would have to follow that.
Exactly.
And if they run out, they have to come back down.
yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way of incorporating what we normally think of a static item when you lay your miniatures down at the start of a miniature game. And it's also nice that you can do battle because it's a skirmish game, but at the same time you don't have to. So if you're just strategic enough, you
can
could
technically
avoid attacking.
Yeah, that's true.
You could do a bit of like sneaking around.
Yeah, I think from memory they're all, if not most, close range as well.
What's the limit per? What do you call them? The squad, not squad.
I think they're, I don't know, I'm going to call them war bands, I guess, because it's the closest.
How many is it per?
It's only a few. I think it's about 6 from memory.
Okay, so not too crazy.
But it's not like a small game. Then you can actually, you've got enough pieces on the chessboard to attack.
Yeah, 8 people.
Oh wow!
How many would it take for one person to successfully, I suppose, claim or fight a soul?
What's the end goal?
The end goal is all souls are off the board, basically.
And then how much like is it one party, like one member of your war party could take on a soul on its own?
Yeah, you can do it individuals.
But
you
I'm
can do a
assuming it's
pincer
easier if you
maneuver.
have multiple.
Yeah, it's more to do with the strategy of how you position them and how you try and essentially approach one. Because it might be that the terrain suddenly turns and you need to be on the other side at the same time.
Okay, so it's not necessarily killing them, or capturing them. It's more how you even get to them or corner them effectively.
It's the travel.
Okay, that's actually really that's different.
Yeah.
Very, very few games do that.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, the gold ones caught my eye.
Yes.
The ones that you had on earlier.
Well, the other interesting thing is, so once again, like the other game last week, this is miniature agnostic. So I plan on probably doing a video sculpting my own. But Jeremy, the guy that's done it, has also worked with a miniature company, and there is a range of miniatures that you can download for each
Very
warband,
nice.
which is really nice. So it gives you that option.
So do you you can download them and print them yourself.
Yes, yeah. You download them by the 3D print files.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done. I think actually I might have some of them from the Kickstarter, if not all of them, but I just haven't done it yet.
Can you buy them from them? As in,
Yes. So
fully
there is an
not
online
printed models.
store, I believe, on the Idols of Torment page, also linked to his Black Magic Craft page. I think there was talk of it being coupled with a online print service as well. So it might be on there
that's
by
cool.
now. If not, there are loads that you can buy the
Yeah.
STLs and then upload them to now.
Games Workshop, please learn.
And
They
speaking
need
of
to.
Games Workshop, and please learn, how often are they going to change the rules?
It's a very valid question.
This, as far as I know, is the rules.
Perfect. One book.
One book,
One
set
purchase.
and what there might be is
Expansions.
expansions.
fine.
Different. So in here we've got some examples of layouts that you might want to try, different terrain,
Yeah.
different scenarios. These are the things that are going to be expanded on, but the original rule set will remain as far as I'm
like the what's its attack?
Yes, that's
level or
always going to be
power.
the same.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to have the souls. You're always going to have your essentially warband. That is really nice to be able to get into a game. And
Yeah.
it just stays. You can do different scenarios. It's a bit like you've got your D&D core.
Yeah.
And then you're
Yeah.
going to buy your expansions to do extra things. And I really like that. And I think you can kind of tell that Jeremy started doing videos on D&D terrain. And he's a big D&D-er.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Seriously, check out his videos. They are incredible. Some of the things he builds is just mind-blowing.
I was going to say, I think I did get a hint of less Warhammer, more D&D, just from the way, like you said, they've got different scenarios, they've got different
And the
stories.
movement, it's starting to
Yeah.
sound more like.
It's like a campaign of
I was literally thinking like an average episode of like Critical Role. Matt
Yeah.
Mercer's just hella
Yes.
detailed.
Idols of Torment. Would recommend checking it out. I've only managed to play it once so far.
Nice. How many people can you play with? How many warbands?
It's normally up to 2, although I don't see the reason why you couldn't put more down on the board.
I think
That's
more-
absolutely.
It would just make
get
a
a bit,
game
bit more
quicker.
chaotic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I suppose it would also mean it would, you could be a bit more sneaky.
yeah.
You could sabotage.
Exactly. And the way it's done because of the rules, I can't see why you couldn't do essentially a table twice the size with twice the amount of people that you're trying to grab.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
I think it's quite a nice game because it's quite flexible, model agnostic. It's designed by a creator to be creative.
Wait,
with.
so you can kit bash it?
Yeah,
No.
kit
That's
bashing is like
insane.
encouraged.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Games Workshop, please learn.
We're not anti-games workshop.
We
love Warhammer.
We're definitely not anti-Games Workshop. It's just this high entry price point to not even just enter Warhammer 40k, to
Yeah.
retain
I mean,
and keep invested.
I mean, as Luke will know, I had some Tau, and by the time you even get to finish them, they had a new
Rule change.
rule set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
All
became
the weapons have changed.
the weapons that I wanted to use, some of the drones I wanted to use,
and
they all just went.
All the
And
rules get overhauled.
I
and you're
really,
like, cool.
I want to be able to. I mean, Luke will know more than me. I'd like to have able to create my own sect as
Yeah.
such. So, but that is quite frowned upon. I found out from.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to wargaming, mainly I think sci-fi and fantasy wargaming, and it's getting to the point now where people are using it as a creative expression instead of sticking to what people subscribe in a game. It's a way to have a creative outlet. You do painting, you do building, you do sculpting, you do changes, you do kit bashes. If you want to make a rule set which cuts all of that out, it becomes more difficult. That game actually allows for kit bashing, but it's getting stricter with its rules.
It's when
Yeah.
you've got a percentage of Games Workshop plastic has to be a part of the model.
Yes.
It's just got less and less over the years. It used to be 50%.
Yeah.
Then it went to
It's gone down and
has to be
down.
like 60% has to be.
I think you'll find if you actually sculpt it from scratch and green stuff on top, but most people can't do it, so it's not accessible. And the stuff that's now older models, you can't necessarily field all of them and get good points. So it's a bit of a nightmare. But that's why they've gone into the video games market.
Yeah.
I suppose that's why these companies, these Kickstarters, are starting, because people want
Yep.
change. And
I mean,
this is the second game.
evidently there's enough of an appetite
Yeah.
from I mean probably from the Games Workshop like
And
community.
from me alone, I've done 12.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's enough people being like, we want to stick with these games, but at the same time, it's painful.
Yeah, it is.
We should put a picture up of your old paint setup.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Desk.
Yeah.
My best TikTok I ever released
Yes,
was the Ultimate
yeah,
Desk.
Yes, it was. Didn't you
I
do
got
it?
no clue why, but it got a few 100,000 views and still climbs.
How many pots of paint were there? Like 100 plus?
You're thinking maybe a quarter of what I've got, I think. At the
Oh,
time.
Yeah, I mean,
really?
no, but as in actually on show.
On show, I was probably about 150 to 200 on
Yeah,
there.
that sounds about
Yeah,
right.
I think it's worth just
Just
I'll try and
snip
dig
it.
that one
yeah,
out.
because that was that you'll be amazed and yeah.
Now it's all hidden away in boxes, so I've got a neater studio to actually work in for my videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was insane. In fairness, that was also in my.
I don't want to say a hoarder, but
As I said, it's a thing that happened. I was in lockdown. I had extra income coming in because I was still working, and I was painting. So I went, I will buy the paints because I couldn't paint the models quick enough.
it wasn't just that; it was also the models. I have seen your.
The models I sold if I don't paint them in 2 years. Okay, I'm good with that. Thank you.
Fair enough.
I don't have a pile
Yeah,
of shame.
okay.
I stick to one box of shame now.
It's still a box of shame.
It is, but I'm using most of them again.
Okay.
I was going to
Okay.
say, to be fair,
You
the
use them for
box of
Trench
shame
Crusade.
has been used to play to make the things from the other game
Yes.
that John
Yes,
got
the
you
Trench
into.
Crusade.
Yes,
I
that
will
one.
hopefully be. But what is weird one really? Because before I started to do the YouTube videos, I went, I'm going to glue some stuff together, and now I started doing YouTube. And I'm like, I really want to finish these, but can I do a video where I'm just doing the sculpting bit, and how can I make it interesting? So yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Well, as we found, just put some Pirates of the Caribbean music on.
Yeah,
Behind it.
yeah, and that'll
It'll be fine.
That'll get TikTok trending.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. I did a video of you running down the road and did the same music, and it also
Oh, that
I
was
had no
funny.
hashtags on it, and it still got ridiculous amounts of views.
Yeah, it was
For,
raining.
for context, this was James running in the rain over to my house.
I left something in my car.
Yeah, he left something in your car and he ran over to get it.
And for our listeners, this is a relatively, I'd say mid-normal size, I'd say rugby build,
Rugby build, yeah.
with an umbrella in
Yep,
his hands
yep.
that is just not working.
And shorts.
And shorts, yeah, shorts. It was very
It was
Yorkshire.
bloody cold. It was bloody cold and it was bloody wet. And
still
you got
shorts.
your Yorkshireman in his shorts. As expected, to be honest. As expected.
Yeah.
If I didn't see him in shorts over the winter, it'd be weird.
I'd
Well,
expect no.
They used to, a few things at school. When I was back in school in sixth form, I used to wear shorts most of the year, as you could probably guess. And one of my friends sent me a post of somebody in shorts and a hoodie in the snow.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of me.
Yeah,
And
sounds
every
about right.
time, if I were to walk into we had like a common room in school, and if I walked in with jeans on, the whole place would go, "It's winter."
It's bloody cold out there.
Oh, that's
It'd
hilarious.
be like, and
James has
and-
got his knees
And
covered.
then when I was at uni, I walked in, nobody noticed I was wearing jeans, and then they looked under the desks and went, did a double take. And went, God, it must be cold.
That's funny.
Nice. Shall we
Oh,
move
dear.
on to our next item?
Can do. So, game review. Well, to be fair, this is a game that both myself and Luke have played.
Yes.
Luke has actually streamed it online, but James joined Luke for a fair amount of the the stream, really. As
Crazy
did
Maker
I.
Nerd on Twitch.
Yep.
He did the accent as well.
He
He did
did.
the voice.
belongs in a museum.
If you didn't guess, Indiana Jones. And the Great Circle.
Yes.
Yes. Luke actually did the stream fully dressed up as Indy.
That was rather warm, actually.
Yes.
Yes. You took the hat off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had to
I
take half
noticed.
because it didn't fit over my headphones.
Oh, of course.
It was a logistical issue.
I thought,
course.
and that's when you went to the wired the wired earphones.
Yeah, I bought some really cheap earbuds so that on the last bit I could actually wear the hat.
Nice.
And then halfway through, I realised that because the hat was on, you couldn't see my eyes. So then I had to adjust it. Oh, it was a nightmare. There was no planning involved. I just booked the week off and I went, you know what? I'm going to stream for the first time in years.
Now, I played this game on Xbox. Luke played this game on PC.
Easy Master Race.
It's fair. I mean, I can't really argue. I don't think anybody's going to say you're wrong. But I'm not going to stay here and be like, yep, Xbox is
That's all right. I
better.
won't bully you much more.
But at the same time,
Much.
the only thing that I can say I beat you on is I get to actually enjoy the games I play on my sofa in the living room.
I was
That's
just going to
true.
say, one of our friends will know this. Aim assist.
Aim assist.
Ah,
You get that on
you bloody Russian, you know who I'm talking to. You know who you are. We don't get bloody aim assist. Okay.
Aim assist.
we spent far too long on a game. Me and this our friend.
It's for another episode. It'll be brought up for sure. Now, Indiana Jones. Now, immediately starting this game up. Oh my god. The graphics was insane. I know early on from the trailer they said it had been optimized for Xbox Series X. I didn't know how optimized. They had ray tracing. I mean, as much ray tracing
It's
an Xbox should not be capable.
Well, it's
Yeah.
the first game
Yes.
to require ray tracing.
Yes.
So if you go on to the game's
Require
system requirements, it's the first game that has required
Yep.
at least 2070, 2080.
Yeah.
People were losing their minds when the system requirements dropped.
Yeah.
They were like, I mean, the number of tweets I saw where people were like, "Whoa, you know, hey, how can you expect us to do this?" Yada yada. But like,
There is a reason for it, though.
there is a reason.
It relies on lighting so
Once-
heavily.
Their lighting engine that they've built or that they've used, I believe they do run on Unreal Engine 5. I think. I believe it's
I
Unreal
don't
Engine.
know.
No,
I can fact check it for you.
Should we just do a quick
definitely-
fact
I definitely
check?
do remember seeing the Unreal Engine at the beginning, but I don't know if they're the ones responsible for the light engine. But I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
If it is, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It should be because it's all one system, is it?
No.
No?
Instead, it
Oh.
was developed using the custom motor game engine,
Interesting. Okay, so they completely avoided it.
which is based on ID Tech 7,
And
which was
Doom
first used for Doom Eternal.
Eternal. Also a fantastic game. I've played that as well.
'Cause, I mean, they've definitely done. I mean, I watched the stream.
In that case, that's super props to them.
Yeah.
Because the lighting was everything in this game, and they've just done so well. So there are multiple parts where I'm either like walking under trees or walking around kind of in the swampy areas, and seeing each ray of light, you know, breaking through like each of the leaves, and seeing all the shadows kind of play around either on the water or on the ground was amazing.
It's just beautiful.
It is
And
just gorgeous.
I was playing it upstairs with all the lights off with this 32-inch curved monitor in front of me. It was so immersive and so amazing, and I felt like I was in Giza at one point.
Yes. I suppose don't want to spoil too much, but effectively you do get to travel around to different parts of the world. Classic Indiana Jones.
Yep.
If you've watched
With
any
the
of the
plane
movies.
shot, with the
Yeah,
line.
yeah, with the plane shot, where you just got a plane moving
done a
around the
really good job
globe
there.
with a big red line behind it. But one of the places we stop at is actually what's it called? The Vatican City. Oh my god.
That was amazing.
It was amazing. So obviously, just the detail on the outside of the buildings was gorgeous, but actually entering things like the Sistine Chapel,
Yeah.
wow! Everything from the flooring to the paintings on the roof are so well done.
They really are.
You could just and the thing is like Luke was wondering how Howard not finished the game in so long because he'd finished it in a lot quicker time. Number one, he was using cheats because he was actually buying books that told him
It's
where.
not cheats. It's in the game.
It's in the game, but he was he was being a bit of a pansy and actually buying all the books that told him where certain things that you had to find were.
Are you cheating?
I don't think I was. The first one I didn't realise I bought. I just thought, oh, there's markers on the map now. That's nice.
Silly is what it is.
Is he cheating?
It's not cheating.
Or
being
you
a
just
pansy.
didn't
or
play the
did
game.
you not notice they
No,
were?
no. I noticed it. And I noticed it immediately. But it was like, is this something I want to spend money on, or do I want to actually genuinely explore the map? And
As in
come
real
across these-
real world money.
No.
Oh.
It's in-game money, but the thing is, like you don't actually make too much in-game money. So there was like in-game money to spend on.
Oh
other...
boy, I did.
No, of course.
I nicked everything. I played it like I played Witcher.
Nice.
Were you trying to put everything back in museums?
Everything belongs in a museum.
But like visually, I've seen gameplay.
Visually, it was
Gorgeous.
insane.
I
mean,
the funny thing is that we played I was playing the first map and I finished the Vatican, and that night I went and saw our mate this Italian, and I was talking to him about it as if I'd been there.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, there's that the Sistine Chapel's really small actually. I thought it'd be really big. He was like, yeah, it's a chapel. I was like, yeah, and the Tower of St Paul, is that actually open now to the public? Because in the game it's like being
Still
restored.
in construction,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's like,
Why do you
why
know
do you
this?"
know so much about this random place? And I'm like,
played
oh, I
that,
just spent the week there just without travel.
yeah.
That's the greatest travel for you.
I just thought it was so odd. I'd be really interested to actually go to there and see,
Yes, and see how
how
much of a difference-
close it is,
Yeah.
because I didn't realize all of those sites were so close.
Yeah.
So if they're actually like genuinely that close, I'd be like, wow, that is a dense like section of history there in that city.
Well,
'Cause I just don't leave Wiltshire, as you know.
one day we will get him out the country. It'll happen.
I ain't going on no plane.
No, I was going to say, well, one of the other things they absolutely mastered was just giving you so much freedom of choice. You know, you could complete missions. There were so many missions where, effectively, at some point, there was an A to B. You had to get to point B somehow. Now, you could do this multitude of different ways. You could go sneaking along the roofs.
Yeah.
Jump into the area. You could disguise yourself as one of the local constabulary.
Yeah.
Depending on which way you are, it was either the Nazis or the fascists.
Yeah.
Either or, you could become one of them.
Are these the baddies?
9.
9.
You could either do that, or you could you could try and break into different camps and different rooms, steal keys from certain captains to get access to certain areas, or the particularly fun way was knock everybody out.
That was the way I played it.
No,
I shot a lot of people when I don't think I was meant to.
Nice. No, I did wish. I was wondering if they actually had like a morality engine inside of it, because it would be so good.
Mine would be pretty poor.
But no, honestly, that's some of the best things you got was because bullets were quite scarce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so most of the time I was actually just bludgeoning people, where you just pick up so many random things, just throw them, pick it up
My
again.
favourite was the toilet brush.
Toilet brush.
What an OP weapon.
Yep.
The most
It's
powerful
also
weapon
just-
in the game.
It's also just an embarrassing. Just like, what'd you get knocked out by? Well, he came at me
Bog brush.
with a toilet brush.
Now the story would have been, it was with a break. It was
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently
it was
there's
made of cast iron. It was awful.
I think the annoying thing in the game is everything breaks that you use, including the things that are made of metal, which would never
It's
break.
so baffling.
But-
It's so baffling.
Apparently, I've looked this up now. In Giza, there is a particular spanner that one of the guys comes at you with that will never break.
It's an unbreakable.
So I want to go back and see if I can find that
Nice.
now.
Well, I mean,
The
nice
next
thing,
gameplay.
the nice thing is that you did have repair kits, which
Yes.
were useful. But it was also nice that you could pick up guns, and if you didn't want to go loud and kind of shoot it, you could just turn it around and turn it into a melee weapon.
It's a bat.
But then it broke
breaks.
instantly.
Yeah.
Still a bit annoying. But no, I think you went for the route of let's knock every fucker out,
basically,
which is a fun one. But I tried my best to find the disguises basically, so I could either be one of the fascists or be one of the Nazis.
Yeah,
the bad guys.
I didn't even realize there was on the last map that there was one, so I just killed everyone in blood. It was quite fun, but I did wonder why I kept dying so much. Because I don't think you're meant to do it like that.
When I did join one of your streams, it was, I'm sorry for the 5th time I ever died. It's just very difficult, this particular bit.
There's also the jumping. I can never do jumping in games.
Oh.
This man.
It was
his timing when it comes to the
Timing is
jumps.
poor. I remember playing Last Jedi and having the same problem. I was sliding down slope. I kid you not. I had 2 cups of tea whilst doing that level because I could not do that jump. It's an embarrassment. But I can say officially I am old, so there. I'm older than you two, so there. So my reaction times are slower.
But we get to always say this. So old.
Still not by much.
But yeah, I mean, I do. You know me. I don't play many games, but I really want to get into games now. But my monitor is it's 4K, but it is standard definition and only goes to 60, and it's not exactly.
When I got my monitor, I went with 32-inch curved, so immersive, 4K. But I only went with 60 frames because I'm there for the cinematic games mainly. Because I've played Red Dead 2. That is so beautiful on the 3090. Then Indiana Jones game, beautiful. Actually, for the first time, because I've never played Skyrim, so I downloaded the special edition of that a year and a half ago, and I've been playing that on and off. That's nice. I also downloaded and started replaying Witcher 3, but then I downloaded at the time there was a HD texture pack that was fan-made. Gorgeous. So yeah, I'm there for the graphics mainly.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I think I should probably get next, so I can play games.
At the
That
same
and
time,
storage.
At the same time, who's been near the top of the charts on all the COD games, and I've only got a 60 frames monitor.
Yeah.
I don't think it would improve my gameplay if I went quicker.
No, I don't think I need I think I just need a better quality.
Yes.
It was a cheap Samsung one. It was when I first.
This, my friend, is why Black Friday's a thing.
I keep looking.
Yeah.
And once again, we are responsible with money.
Go back to the original.
Responsible.
We are very responsible.
Just final thing I wanted to say about Indiana Jones, just before we kind of close off, is the voice acting.
Oh my god, he's great.
Oh my gosh. The guy who did it, props.
Yeah.
Props to him. He did a fantastic job. And actually, if any of you watched the Game Awards, where Indiana Jones, the guys actually got called up, including the guy who voice acted as Indy, they got Harrison Ford to come out. And he was like, I heard about this game being made, and I didn't want to bother with it, but if I'd known the guy was going to be this good at playing me, I would have done it, because I'm afraid he's going to take all my business. It was so cute for Harrison Ford himself to be like, you did such a good job portraying, me as Indy. So it was very, very nice to see that.
Yeah, well, he is definitely too old now to do another film.
No,
sure.
of course not.
The voice acting, you can kind of tell if he was to do it.
Yeah.
He did a very good job of doing specifically Indy that was in the 80s films.
Young Indy.
Which was really good.
Yes.
And there was some bits that maybe you could just about tell, but most of the time, blimey,
it was really good.
Really good.
And it was like the little comments as well, like as you're walking along and you kind of see little bits of scenery, and he'll make a little comment about it, and it just, I don't know. I heard it. I was like, that sounds
like Harrison Ford.
Exactly. I was like, that's Indy.
I'm interested to see if they ever put Sean Connery in as a character for the next one.
That could be interesting.
Because the Sean Connery voice is quite easy to do. So it's quite an easy one to find someone to do it. Because what's the old joke? Oh yeah. I got hit on the head by a load of books. I know when to blame but myself. So bad. Right, shall we wrap up there then, chaps?
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget, we are now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, and YouTube as of the last episode, which went up last Friday. We've also got a poll on this video on the Spotify, so please come by to say what you like the most of. Also, make sure you hit some comments down below so that we know, is there anything that you want to talk about? Is there any games that maybe we have played that we can talk about or get a review on?
Anything and everything.
Yeah, and please follow and share. Just anything that gets us...
Engagement is key. So
Engagement-
if you like something,
Yep.
just write, this was good, or something like that. It's fine.
Any particular segments or topics, if you said, you know what, we don't want to hear about this, yeah, wonderful. Cool.
And if we get loads of trash talk over the year, we will do a trash talk special. I will definitely go through all of those comments. Would you like to do the outro?
Next time, will James ever change his lighting?
We'll see about that.
Will Gresham ever get his garden done?
Is it done yet?
No.
Oh.
What a shame. And will Luke ever learn to like Apple and F1?
Not beep. It likely.
We'll work on that.
Next time.
Yeah, see ya. Peace.